and welcome to the Solve Network. My name is Shane Borza, and I'll be your host. Along with my co-founder, Benjamin Goss, we'd like to welcome you. Our mission is to provide solutions and create a network of experts for you to learn from. Now, this show is a little different than most podcasts, as it is actually a live call held twice a month. If you can, please join us on the first and third Thursday of each month so you can get your questions answered live and direct from the experts themselves. If you're an expert, please contact me at shaneborza.com so you can be a part of the network. And now, here's our show.
Scene one, Apple, take one.
Hi, I'm Shane Borza, your content creator coach. I have 2 books on filmmaking, Film Notes, where you learn to write, direct, and produce, and the Film Notes Workbook, where you can learn checklists and paperwork to streamline creating your content. Available at shaneborza.com. I also have filmmaker resources like the Paperwork Bundle with over 300 documents, the Sound Effects Bundle with almost 3,000 files, and the Music Bundle featuring 900 tracks of all genres. Want to build your professional credits? Become an associate producer and get listed on IMDb. Let me help you get your art out into the world.
Scene one, Apple, take one.
So we're going to open it up to some discussion and Q&A, and if anyone would like to jump in, please do. I do have a question from James, but I can ask that at any point, and I had a couple things that I wanted to ask about. But Ben or Alexandra, would you have anything that you'd like to ask first?
You can ask first. Well,
okay, perfect. So I'll ask James questions. So he was asking, how do you bridge the gap between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it? So the idea between the difference between like having the knowledge and then having the action.
Yeah. What I would, if I had a client who I was working with wants to do that, then I would have the client first, let them discover their why. Like, to know what you need to do is one thing, but why would you do it? That would be my big question. Like, let's say that sometimes someone says, oh, I should try to learn how to run, or I should learn to become a runner. Like, why would you want to do that? Well, I don't know, they say it's fun so I would ask, what is your why? Like, if your friend has a more specific thing, then I can answer more specifically. But that would be the first time question. What's your why? Because if your why is not making any sense to you personally, you will never do it. And then the next thing would be if you would discover, like, yes, it is a value of mine. It is important for me. It's something that I really want to do, not that I need to do because my doctor says it. It's something that I want to do. Then my next thing for them would be to break it down. Like, this is where you want to get at. Let's break this down. Let's come back and start super, super small. Like, I call it start ridiculously small. And if you would have an example of that, I could tell you like that. An example would be last year we were at this community event. And so I had a dress, with no sleeves. And I had, there was women at the table. And so they were saying, oh my God, I would love your arms. And I said, you can do that. I did it. So you can, have toned arms like this. And they said, okay, what do we need to do? And I said, it's really simple. Every day, like, let's do this experiment for the next 7 days. Every day after you brush your teeth, you do 10 arm circles forward and 10 arm circles back. And that's all you need to do for the next 7 days, every single day. Oh, so, and then comes your brain comes like, this is a trick. Like, you can't get arms like that with doing that. But habits are all about consistency. Consistency rules over intensity. That's how you start a habit. Ridiculously small. And if you cannot commit to doing 7 days, 10, 20 arm circles in total, then I would never, then we have to analyze again. Like, why are you not even starting that? Why can you not even commit to doing that? Why are you even skipping days here? So the ridiculously small is key for starting a new habit. So that would be how you fill that gap. Is first discover your why and then start ridiculously small.
Great, thanks for that. If it looks like I'm not paying attention, it's because I'm typing everything you're saying, so I can. So I'll make sure I get that answer to him. Thank you. And I think Alexandra had something.
Yeah, I have a question on that exactly, because sometimes, you're completely right when you say that you need to know your why to be able to even spend the energy, right? But sometimes, like, we don't even know the why. So it's a question of values, right? And re-evaluating our values so we can know the why. Because, like a bigger why would be a purpose. And I think there's different kinds of how do you build a habit into doing one thing or another. But like the exercise habit, it's very straightforward. Right? Very straightforward. It not all the time, but in a way, like you want toned arms, and there's just one way to get those, right? But then it comes like more complicated things, like I don't know, something becoming certified, for instance, as a coach, or engaging in a career. That requires it's a bigger purpose, right? It's something, but then there is some psychology mixed there. So it's not like, how would you catalog into those different kind of building habits into simple habits and more complicated habits, or how would you categorize?
I would make them all simple. Even complicated habits, I would make them really simple. So and about that why, until there's there's this noise in the background of someone, I don't know what it is. Okay, stop. Yeah. So until there is this switch in or click in your head for the why. Like, for example, we have a neighbor, and he's a smoker, and he was going to have a pretty severe surgery a couple of weeks ago, and he was going to quit smoking after the surgery. Then life would be different, and he was gonna, walk more, and the surgery would change his life in many ways. And I had advised him to start working on the quitting smoking before he had the surgery, because because then you have to deal with the pain and a lot of things that are new to you. And so what happens if you're overwhelmed and stressed? Then you go back to what you know. Unless there's like this, like what you say, Alexandra, less psychological switch, because it's something so transformational that happened to you, or spiritual transformation, that, that nothing else is needed, that it's just easy to make that switch. And I've never smoked, so I don't know what it's like to have a smoking addiction. And some can stop just like that, and others, but that would have been my suggestion to my neighbor, like, start working on that before you get, you have that surgery and recovery and all to deal with that. So, and he's still smoking unfortunately. So,
So what I'm understanding is that whatever it is you want to build a habit on, you build it little by little, like small goals. Like, let's say writing a book, right? Writing a book, it's a super big goal.
Yeah.
And if you start just thinking, I'm going to write this book, it can be very overwhelming, and you will just drop out and sabotage yourself in a way, so you would never do it.
Yeah.
So, but instead of thinking about the whole book, you will think like everyday goals, or my goals in a week. That could be maybe writing 1 page of whatever I feel like, and that will be like a goal, like even a page for a week, in a week.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah. So here you can apply. So I have, different strategies that I will pull out of this backpack, all resources, techniques, tricks. So here I would say, talk about the 2-minute rule. And the 2-minute rule is, there's 2 parts of it, but one part is do it for 2 minutes. So what I would suggest for writing the book is that you pick out what days, and it doesn't have to be every day, but what is important is that you decide what days it is going to be and that you stick to that. So let's say you say, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, I'm going to write 2 minutes on my book. And you can even say, I cannot write longer. Even if you want to, you put your timer and you do not let yourself, it's all a brain thing. So you want to make your brain crave to write more instead of it, not looking forward to the writing, because it's so easy that your brain says, this is a no-brainer. Like, I can do 2 minutes. What is that? The pitfall of that is that your brain will trick you into letting you think, like, I will never be able to finish a book in this pace. Why would I even bother? And that's where that consistency over intensity comes into play again, that you say, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm doing that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you do for, 2 weeks. You say, I cannot write longer than 2 minutes. And then after that, if you do want to write a little bit longer, you do that. For example, if you want to start running, the very first thing that I would have people do is, you don't go run for 10 minutes. The first thing that you do for the 1 week is that first you decide, I'm going to run, I don't know, again, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I would have them put their shoes ready on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a week. And that's it. Put your shoes ready, and that's it. So you're preparing that pathway. Remember that, what I showed you, the neurons and then that field? You're preparing that, like, I'm putting my shoes ready, and that's it. There's not even running involved like week 1. Week 2, you put your shoes ready, and then you put them on the time that you want to have it become a habit that you want to go run. You can put your shoes on, and you will want to go out of the door maybe because you have your shoes on. Well, you cannot let yourself do that. No, because you want to have your brain start craving. Come on, I have my shoes on. I might as well go outside. The week after, you can go outside, walk around your yard and come back, and so on. That small. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I really like that. I've heard of the 2-minute rule before, but explaining it like that with those limitations, I really like the thought of it. It's almost like a trick, like you're re-perspectiving, if that's a word, the thought from I don't want to do this to I can't wait to do it. So that's great.
Yeah. And another example, I had a client, and there was 2 big goals that she wanted to work on. She wanted to work on organizing her house and her job because she thought it was, kind of disorganized. And she thought if I have my house and my job workspace organized, then I will finally be able to focus on being a better leader for my team. She couldn't do nothing. And this had been going on for years. Nothing was moving forward because she couldn't it was too overwhelming to start decluttering her house. So this is what we did. We had her, so she could tell, this is the accountability then, like, let's call her Jane. Jane could say what day she wanted to declutter on, and she didn't have to do it every day. She said, I'll do it on Monday, and then Tuesday is a busy day, blah, blah, Monday and Thursday, and then Saturday. And I had her do the Pomodoro technique with that one. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's 25 minutes. So you set your alarm for 25 minutes. And I also integrated the 2-minute rule. And I said, 2 minutes is the minute, like do 2 minutes. And your maximum is 25 minutes. And I have in my coaching platform, it's great for visual monitoring and logging. And if you can monitor, you will manage. So on the platform, which, she can access all through our coaching term, and I can watch her dashboard always. So she knows that, Big Brother is watching on what she's doing and how she's logging and checking off and all that. And so she did rounds of Pomodoro. So she did, 1 round of Pomodoro, 25 minutes for a week. And then suddenly I saw she did 3 rounds. So she did 3 times. So her timer went off. She clicked again, another 25 minutes, another 25 minutes, right? And she did 3 rounds. And so in our coaching call that we do then once a week, but we're in contact every day, almost 5 days a week. I said, what happened here? And she says, I was in a flow and it was going well and all that. And I said, I know, your enthusiasm and all that. And I said, there's a theory behind it. It's brain science that I would not do it. But you tried it, and if it's working for you, it's fine. Well, she did not do her Saturday thing because she overdid it. So there was the consistency, and what she said, it was gone because she got enthusiastic and she did 3 rounds. So, but it's a learning process, like how your brain works and all that. And so your brain tricks you all the time into making you believe, for example, that you're hungry while you're actually very thirsty, you're dehydrated, right? But we can trick our brain back. And once we know how this game works, then it is just, it's exciting and it's fun, and the sky's the limit.
That's a great concept. And I'm just writing that down. I think that's something that a lot of people don't think of is the brain. They think, my brain is in charge. I'm in charge, but it's not. It's really the brain is in charge. So I wanted to welcome Craig. He just jumped on, and I think he had a couple questions. So I'd like to see if he has anything he wants to ask you.
Okay.
Good night, presenter, and
Good night.
Everybody else. Well, I came on late, and my question is basically are these. From your experience, I coach as well, but from your experience, what's the easiest hybrid between an offline habit tracking system, for example, the bullet journal, and online applications? And my second question would be, in your experience, does using a digital journal or even a stylus, how some people you draw on the screen, generally do those gadgets or devices make you more productive? So over to you.
Okay, so your first question is, if I understood it right, is what is my opinion on an offline tracking system and an online tracking system?
Yeah, how you would use it together.
Yeah. I prefer that when I work with a client that we do practically everything in the online tracking system, because I can look in on what is happening, and you want to make it efficient for the client so that they don't have to, work in or do dual work. And I always tell the client, the more I can look in your head, and because that coaching platform has a journaling feature, like a whiteboard where they can do brain dumps or brainstorm. It has, logging with statistics, lots of, there's green, orange, and red. So we don't want the red. I want to see a lot of green tasks that they can complete. So with it being an online system and me having access to the dashboard, it just increases the success of the results, because I can look into it. And many people, I don't know in percentage, but I would think that 80% of the population needs that external accountability. That is just working way better than others. And so I would find it overwhelming if I had to do two systems as the client. Yeah. But like screenshots would be, the client could take screenshots of their app or their Apple Watch, for example, and then upload it in the system, which is, pretty easy. They could do that as well if they're used to working with something. But did that answer your first question?
More or less, and I was asking generally, because some people say, well, from a client accountability standpoint, it's easier to do it online. I get that. But for some people, it doesn't always feel natural. So I was saying, if you had any suggestions as to how to combine the two. But if they're comfortable doing it online only, I guess that negates that. My second question really was about using a digital journal or just drawing digitally. For example, with like some people annotate a lot. Does that make you generally, or is that something you use with your clients, or do you not touch that at all?
I'm not familiar with that, and I don't think I can understand you very well. This question, I don't get it very well.
Let me rephrase. I may have made it sound more complicated than it actually was. I was simply saying, drawing digitally, for example, for stylists, and it's like some people they like to write out the actual goals and tasks and whatnot. Generally, is that something that you recommend for and with your clients, or is it something you just don't bother with at all?
Do you say drawing?
Yes, like writing out. The same way you write on paper. Some people, they do it digitally instead. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying.
Drawing it out. It's personal, I think. Some people like to draw it out. With the platform that I'm using, drawing is not really a feature. Of course, people love, there's people that love vision boards, that is helpful for them to see, how they ideally want to see, their, I'm sorry, my dog's on the table. Go. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer your question. I think it's personal, the drawing, but of course goals have to be set. You want to know which direction the client wants to take it. So that is important.
Yeah. Yes. You have answered, because it is personal. I was just wondering with your practice, whether it's something that you really delved into. But that answers it. And the only other thing I would ask, if you don't mind, is more general question. Generally, how is a habit or productivity coach? I'm assuming that you are, right? How is that different from traditional life coaching? What's your process like? I'm just curious.
Yeah. For me, it's more like I love the science behind it. So I I love that it's that it can be explained scientifically with how, with neuroscience, how the brain works and all that, and the habits are just makes it more specific, because I truly believe that we are our habits. If you have, like that woman, that client, I don't know if you were on the call already. I had the client and she came home, and the first thing she did was going to the fridge, and that made her, one of those things that she did made her an overweight woman that was unhappy with herself and was, bitter in life. So that was her habit, and a bad eating habit. And so that makes it more specific to talk about habits instead of, life in general and happiness. And the life coaching for me is too, not hands-on enough with making it about habits. For me, makes it more hands-on. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, especially with it being more hands-on, because what I imagine, and again, I'm just trying to get clarity since you're an actual practicing professional. What I imagine is someone really holding you accountable and measuring, and as time goes on, really helping to make the adjustments.
Yeah.
With your routine. But that's my questions. Thanks.
Yeah. And I am certified in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for weight loss. So that is also, cognition. It's about the brain, and it's we have such an amazing body, and our brain that's just an extraordinary, incredible organ. And the more we learn about it, the more we know about it, and the more, self-discovery, the more we can play with these tools and with these great equipment that we got. And and CBT is also, bringing awareness that there is, I am certified for weight loss CBT coaching, but it can apply to anything, to, mental challenges, mood swings, depression, personal development. So because their CBT lets people understand that there is a difference between actions, thoughts, and feelings, and that your thoughts influence your feelings influence thoughts, and so on. What I like the scientific approach behind things. That's what I'm a geek about it, actually.
So Craig, I'm glad you got a chance to jump on and ask some questions. So I'm going to circle back. We had another couple of questions come in. So let me just see where this is. Okay, so the challenge of continuing a good habit when either your body or mind doesn't want to continue.
Yeah. I actually, I had a personal experience these last couple of weeks. So because we don't have like a, specific example or detailed question on your question, that's why I use my example as to answer the question. So last year, I'm a runner, and it goes in cycles. Like 1 year, I'm not a runner, and then the other year I sign up for a half marathon and I train. And so last year I thought I want to pick up running again more regularly, like, 30 minutes 3 times a week or something. And then I made myself accountable by signing up for a half marathon, fingers crossed, end of June in Glacier National Park. We'll see what happens. So, but I did that because I wanted to get back in the habit, and I love to travel, and I love to explore, new things in the US. But I didn't think of, at a certain point, my training will, increase, and I will have to run an hour and a half, an hour and 50, and so on. So I'm at this point, I'm at week 13, and I'm starting to I'm supposed to do 3 runs in a week, and now it takes me a week and a half to get my 3 runs in. Of course, I have time. I would be finished earlier. And so that's where awareness comes in, and why I'm so passionate about awareness and self-awareness, why this is so important. If I didn't have such a high level of awareness and self-awareness, I wouldn't think much about it, beat myself up, why I'm not, getting my 3 runs in 1 week. So I sit with it and I think about that, because I love human behavior and I'm my own experiment, right? And so I think about it. I said, what's going on with this? And as I'm, a habits expert and I love everything about it, I'm thinking, why am I not doing my continuum? Why is this taking me so long? And then I thought, well, all you wanted to do is get more consistent with like 30-minute runs again. And now it's taking me so much time that I'm not even I'm dreading, I'm not doing it, and it takes me longer. So yesterday I said, walk your talk. You tell that doing something is better than doing nothing, because in my brain, it didn't count that I was going to do a 10-minute run because I had to do an hour and 20 minutes. So my brain said, well, you better do nothing because you're not going to do the hour and 20. And so then I tell my brain, wait, you know what? I'm going to do 20 minutes. It's better to do something than nothing. And so yesterday I did, 3 reps around the circle here. So that was 23 minutes. And I thought, yay, I'm back just like that, because I tricked my brain. I said, brain, it does matter, the small thing. And now I'm back at it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do my long runs. It was just getting overwhelming. And I thought, you can do a small run. You're allowed. It's still a run, right? And here comes the law of conservation of energy is interesting, where this one comes in, and why I always say consistency is more important over intensity. So with the law of conservation of energy, a body in motion or something in motion takes way less effort to keep in motion than when it's not in motion. So that's why consistency is so important, more important than intensity. If you stop, what you're doing, and you're suddenly stopping that good habit that you have, it'll take you more effort to restart than it would that you do just a little bit. Just put on your running shoes and, do 1 lap. And then, next day, more and more, it'll take you more energy to start again over than it would be that you do a little bit less, but you still keep going. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. No, I really like that. And I like that you keep going back to the consistency over intensity, which reminds me, we have a shared background in running. I ran all through high school and college. And one of the things my coach used to say is, and he said it like this to make the rhyme, is he said, the key is consistency. And so he would always say, I would rather have you come into cross country in the fall, having run 1 mile a day all summer, than sitting on the couch for the whole summer and then trying to run 10 miles a day all out of nothing, because that consistency of running all summer, even if it's a little bit, you're going to be so much fitter. And I think quite often that kind of all or nothing thinking, people feel like either I have to do it all or I'm just going to give up. So yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
And I had a couple other people ask some things. Did anyone want to jump in? And if not, I can keep going with a couple other questions.
I have a question about when you said that you are your habits, and then you say that you also help people with depression. And I think people with depression has normally bad habits, right? And if the approach is you are your habits, and they already feel like trash, and they have that realization, it's like they're not going to be either motivated to start, changing their habits. They're going to think like, this is impossible. If I am my habits, I'm just doomed. I'm broken, period.
Yeah.
So what is your approach? Like how would the cognitive behavioral therapy consider this? Or do you approach them differently? Do you really think we are our habits? Or how would you elaborate on this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are your habits, and I think it's important to take ownership of who you are, but it's also important to have that tagline that I use: "You are your habits." But if you want to change yourself, it's all you need to do is change your habits. Now, with mental challenges, so it's myself, I have a mental challenge. I am bipolar. So I am, again, my own, greatest experiment that I'm doing with all of this. And so how it works in the brain is that, first of all, habits are important for people with mental challenges because I believe they need structure. First and foremost, structure. And in that structure consists of routines. And routines are made of habits. That's how I see it, in my head. It's not a truth, but that's how I see it. Routines are made of habits. And so when you have a, mental condition, it's important that when you feel a little bit okay, so when, before shit hits the fan, excuse my French, that you work on getting that framework or those routines that work for you, get those set up. So when the time comes and it's that time, that cycle is coming around, that you have at least, and this is what I would have them do first, you have a evening routine that you love because it's yours and you set it up with your coach and it's what you know, and you have your morning routine. And even if the day goes to, explodes, at least there is something that is familiar to you because you are in the unfamiliar. When you're in that bad cycle, you're in your things that you don't know, you don't know anything. It's bad. But there's like two parts of the day that you've practiced over and over and over again, and you know it. So you know that there's, relief coming because there's a familiar thing. To make it more specific, so over the years, I've developed an evening routine and then a morning routine. And I'm, it's always work in progress, my day routine. But it helped me a lot because I know when I'm like, when it's that time and I know nothing anymore and I feel like crap, then I go, okay. And this is then, CBT, like, I don't know. What do you know? Well, I know that, when it's 8, I'm starting my evening routine and I'm changing into my pajamas and I'm setting the table for the breakfast the day after. And I go for one more walk with my dogs. That I know. And so the thing that, even if it's so bad, and that'll help you like get back into, the thing of things more easily. So structure and working on routines that you love. And it's not because like I get up at 5:30, I do, I've invented this word, I call it snooga. And it helped many of my clients who had the habit of snoozing, right? Snoozing can make you feel really bad and, make you late for things and make you stress. So it's like snoozing and yoga, snooga. And you can still have the feeling that you're snoozing, but you're already doing a little bit of yoga. So I came up with this And I'm tricking my brain, and like I'm slowly waking up, but I'm still like hiding under the covers. And so wake up at 5:30, start my snooga, so that's in bed. And then by the time I'm done with snooga, my eyes are open, I feel awake. Then I get up, I finish the rest of my yoga, I get a little bit of a strength training in. Then I go downstairs and I have my whole little routine that's coming up. And so that has helped me enormously with managing it all better and getting through it quicker. Because that's what you know. That's what you know. And in all the unknown, there is a few things that you know. And then with like CBT, how does that come in more is to have these people understand very well what is a thought, like what is reality. Do they have proof? I'm a loser. I'm, all of that. I'm a failure. Okay. Did you get your college degree? Yes. Was that hard? Yes. Well, that means that you can do hard things, right? So you can be successful as well in things. So you have to always counter, I don't know how you call it, act on what these people are saying and ask them to, what is your proof of that? All they have is thoughts, and those thoughts trigger feelings. So if the thoughts are negative, it will trigger negative feelings. So people with mental conditions need to understand what is reality, and which is hard at that time, but is it a thought or is it a feeling? It's important to see that distinction in those three.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Because sometimes, even if you know that something is a bad habit or it's a vice or, it's just your willpower being depleted, not making that distinction in the moment, kind of that it gives people an excuse to not push through, and that's the problem with technology, because it pumps us up with so much dopamine. I was watching a video on this today, actually, and it messes our habits, because when we're so happy with all the things that are not related to what we want, the things that we should do that actually give us fulfillment, eventually our motivation begins to dip a little, and that's something we have to be very conscious of.
Yeah. And so I don't like when people ask me, how do you stay motivated, or do you have so much more willpower? And I said, motivate. And there's this quote, you all have heard it: motivation is what gets you started, and then habits are what keeps you going. So I tell my people, forget about motivation. It's good to get started. But if you have a system with habits that form routines that you created and that you love, then willpower, motivation, don't need that anymore, because you'll get addicted to your system. You are going to go to bed because in the morning exactly what is going to happen, how your routine is set up. And you go to bed looking forward to the morning after, because you know exactly what is going to happen and you'll love it. That's how it feels for me. In the evening, 8 p.m. it hits. It's hard to explain, but if you find that system, and me, I'm so obsessed with the whole thing, and that's what coaches are. They are always a little bit more obsessed and autistic in what they bring to their coachees. They have to be, right? They have to be a level up. So that's me. And so I call it's that I'm living Groundhog Weeks. So like you have the movie Groundhog Day. For me, it's Groundhog Weeks. Every Monday, I challenge myself. Okay, this was how it looked last week. I want to tweak this habit, and I want to have a more productive week than last week. I always want to be better than before. And why I push so much on consistency is because if you don't give it time to do things over and over and over again, if you like, if you're all over the place and then, or if you have your own business and then, oh, I'm going to work out this idea. Oh, I'm going to work out that idea. You never get the chance to create more awareness around what you're doing. I'll give you an example. I have 2 dogs and they're very well trained. And of course I have made the choice to do online coaching. I can work from home. I can be with, we can be together all the time. So every morning we do this same walk after my husband leaves to his work. We do the same walk into the woods. And this happened yesterday. For over a year, like my one dog keeps pulling just a little bit too much that I like. Not a lot. People would say, like, this is incredible, the way they walk with you. Well, it needs to be a little bit better for me. And so I couldn't find, like, what makes him stay at my side better and not pull. So for a year, and yesterday I came home and I said to my husband, I'm so excited, I found it. And if I hadn't done this walk consistently and had awareness about what is happening, then I would never have found the solution. And I kept trying. And for me, it's all experiment, like trying. Then I had like a little stick that I waved to keep him behind me. And then at a certain point, he became like, how do you call it? Like he started like nipping a little bit at me and growling. And so that didn't help. And yesterday, finally, I have this long elastic leash of the little puppy. And so when he was near me, he started to jump up, growl even a little bit. So it got worse. And now I sent him ahead of me. For the first couple of meters, I say go, because he's so excited that he gets this, he's not himself anymore. I saw it in his eyes. So I said, go, go, go. So I'm on the long leash. So he just needs like a couple seconds that he runs in front of me. And then he comes back. He's perfect in line with me. If I would not do this thing every single day consistently, you can never come up with the solution to your problem. If you don't give up, if, for anything that you want to do, or your runs, or your business, keep trying, and just tweaking a little bit, and at a certain point you'll get there. Yeah,
I could certainly relate to that for a lot of things. I think we might be wrapping up soon as far as I'm hearing, but I wanted to pitch in one question though.
Yeah,
one that's not asked that often or on forums like these. It's around how does sex affect your habits, yeah, so speak on that, please.
How does it affect your habits?
Yeah,
give me an example. What are you?
I mean, for example, your routines, morning, evening. I mean, obviously those are not always perfect. I mean, some people, they like to sleep for a certain duration in the evening. So generally, I hope that's specific enough. So generally, how does, you wouldn't necessarily give a prescribe a solution, but generally, does it affect yours too much, or generally the average, or what do you advise your clients?
I never had this question before. How does it affect your habits? I would, if you would ask, if this is considered a habit or whatnot, I would understand the question a little bit better. But I'm not sure I understand.
My point is basically, for things like that, sometimes we set habits, we set routines, but it's easy to deviate from them. So what I mean essentially, not to make it sound more complex than it actually is that, sometimes we get distracted, right? So, or we go to bed later than we plan to. So generally, is it something that most people should manage easily, or is it something that, just shouldn't mind? Let's say it throws off when you get up maybe by a few hours or when you go to bed. So that is what I'm asking generally. Is it like it doesn't really matter, or is it something that you have to habit track as well?
It all depends. If you, I like that last part that you added to it. You have to habit track that. It all depends. If what is your goal? Like, do you want to improve your relationship? And do you want to figure out, if your partner has a different sex drive than you? Do you want to figure out, like, how can we find each other in the middle? Then, tracking would be a good thing. And, and you can, if you feel that you get wrapped up in life and in busyness and there's no time for that, you could start scheduling it. It works for a lot of people. Schedule it and say, every Sunday evening we're going to bed a little bit earlier, and that's that. Yeah, it's very personal, but it's definitely something that if you both think that it's important, that you need to find each other in there, then of course, go for it. Plan it, schedule it. Make it a weekly or 3 times a month habit, whatever, or daily, whatever works for you.
So I'm going to jump in because we're about at time, and but I just want to piggyback on that thought. So my wife and I actually have been doing a scheduled date night, because as we're both working, like coaching and various things like that, we don't have a traditional schedule. And we found last year that if we didn't schedule a date night, quite often 2 or 3 weeks would go by and we didn't actually spend any time together. One of us would be like, oh, I'm booked till 8 o'clock at night, or, I'm free on Tuesday, but you're free on Wednesday. And then it would just continue and continue. So we booked out Tuesday nights like a year ago. And it was just like, we don't have to go out, but we're not going to have any appointments after 5 o'clock. And actually the thing that was great about that was it got to be that because we knew it was coming up, we would look forward to it as opposed to just spontaneously having it arise. And so like on a Monday night, we would both be kind of like, oh, tomorrow we get to spend time together. So the idea of scheduling things like that, I think to some people seems weird, but it can be very effective. So anyway, I'm really glad that Craig asked that. So that I think that some of those habits, like the idea of like scheduling your jogging for only 2 minutes and things like that, the idea of creating the craving in your mind. I was really happy to hear you say that. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
So I really want to thank you. And before I wrap up, I just want to ask, I know you invited people for a free habit audit, but is there anything that you want to shine a light on that you have coming up, or that you would like to point people to, like social media or your website or anything like that?
I had I had a local thing coming up, but of course that's postponed, and I don't know where everyone's from. So we'll see. That's now postponed until September. It is an event for women, and there's like 300 women attending, and it's a speaking gig that I had there. For 300 women, and I was going to talk about how I got to do what I do, and that I turned my, this is what I say, that my mental challenge, that's a weakness, but I turned it into a strength. So with having what I have, I understand I can serve people that do also have mood swings, and I worked out strategies for myself that I can, say, hey, try this, try that. I have a ton of things and plan Bs. That's also something that I want to mention. Like plan A's are great. Plan Bs are better because you're going to need them. Like everything goes well when it's going well, right? But that's why so many programs fail, because they don't say what you need to do when it's going wrong. And I think plan Bs just have to be part of a program or a, coaching experience or whatever. So I have a lot of plan B set up for when the breast cycle comes around, and I have people that support me and that know what to do when it happens. So I have a support crew. So I have a ton of, tricks that I want to share with people on that as well. To answer your question, I have nothing in specific. I don't know how we got here. I do. I don't have anything specific coming up. I have a weekly newsletter with tips on, about habits. I have that. For the rest, I'm trying social media to be consistent, and I know I'm all about consistency, but I'm working on it. But I'm present on Facebook and on Instagram, and funny enough, I'm trying TikTok. I'm having lots of fun with that. That's a fun platform. But
one last question.
Yeah. Before
you go, tell me a little bit about the horses, the yoga, on horses. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I have 2 horses, and these. So the one he's a Frisian. Not that it matters. I got him. How long now? 10 years? Yeah, I have him 10 years, and I knew nothing about horses when I got him. So he's a 1,100-pound horse, and I didn't know anything about horses. But I couldn't. My husband thought it wasn't fair that we got a dog, so we got a horse.
But you have it in your house. You have it in your house?
No, in the well, he's now boarded, but we had him in our backyard, and the horse. The horse actually taught me so much about myself. So I don't know if you know, Alexandra, about equine therapy or equine coaching. Craig says yes. So thanks to this horse, I always say that he was my mentor, and he was part of helping me become the woman that I am today. And like my awareness increased with working with this horse. And I'm not a rider. I don't care about riding. I care about doing groundwork with the horse and just being with the horse and watching the herd and see how they interact. The horse helped me learn so much about myself and about relationships and relation with myself. And it was not about the horse ever. It was always about me. And so with having this incredible journey with this horse, I was so excited. I always want to share what I learned. I'm so passionate in sharing that with other people. And so when I had my, fitness studio, I also offered programs coaching with the horse. And, but that, was not successful. You keep trying, right? As an entrepreneur, like that. So at a certain point, I got certified in St. Augustine in Florida in horse and yoga. And so that is actually and I offered this when I had the farm and the studio. I offered this, and it was incredible how people opened up, and how even people that didn't know anything about horses, and I liked that best because they were open-minded. I always say horse people are the worst. I don't like horse people. So I guide the person that is doing the horse and yoga. And first I tell them about the world of the horse, then about my vision on what is yoga. And then, there's some interaction. And then we go meet the horse. And then the person does yoga-inspired moves. You don't have to know anything about yoga, next to the horse. And so you see the reaction of the horse and the person and the interaction. It's very interesting. Some people go into do mode, like not, getting grounded, being nervous. Some people, you see ego. All they want is a great photo of them doing yoga on the horse. that doesn't go well with my horse. Horses don't like ego. They will like prick right through that. They will see that there's incongruity. What is going on the inside of this person is not what is shown on the outside. The horse feels something is not right, not good. And my horse is, very sensitive, and he will show pinned ears or swooshing the tail. He will show that is not right. And so this person, when there's a good vibe, a good energy between the person and the horse, then the next step is that the person goes on the horse and they do some, stretches there or eagle twist, nothing acrobatic the first time. But when this is not wrong energy, then my horse will start moving forward and backwards so that the person cannot get on the horse. Very interesting. And then we work through that. So then it's like a therapy session almost that I have with that person. Sometimes there's tears, there's emotions. So it's a very powerful session. And people think, we're going to do yoga with a horse, but it's way deeper than that. It is very, very, very impressive. And, I love then seeing what this does to these people. It's really, really beautiful.
So I'm going to jump in. Alexandra, I'm so glad that you remembered to ask about that, because that was amazing to hear about. So we started a little late, so we went a little late, but I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. So Deauke, thank you so much for coming on. Hi, I'm Shane Borza, a climber, creator, and coach, and I want you to build the skill of health and fitness. My new course is a priceless gift to you, and it's available exclusively on ponoquest.com. That's PONO Quest.com. Build the Skill is a minimalistic, functional, real-world fitness program which can help you to move better and get stronger faster. I can't wait for you to check it out, and when you do, please let me know how it helps you. That's Build the Skill at ponoquest.com. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Solve Network. As a reminder, these calls are held live on the first and third Thursday of each month. If you'd like to join us as either a listener or guest expert, please contact me at shaneborza.com. On behalf of my co-founder, Benjamin Goss, we're glad you are a part of the network and hope you are finding solutions. If you need solutions, please reach out.